Gravity versus magnetism, the six paths of pain versus the Omega mutant. Who wins? Let's get into it.
This world shall know.
These nuts.
Almighty push.
Got him!
Welcome back to Autism Unedited, everybody. We're coming back at you with pre-90s Magneto versus the Paths of Pain. And I was the one who decided pre-90s Magneto because we all know that his feats just start going insane after that. So I just wanted to keep this a level-headed video. With me, as always, I have my co-host, Kyle. Say what up, Kyle.
Yo, what up?
Yeah, he's a little angry right now, but we're going to get through it anyway. He's going to go over Naruto. You know, usually he's the one that goes over the Naruto characters on this channel, even though I know him pretty well, too. I'm going to go over Magneto, but I'm going to let him go.
Shit, you don't even know Naruto can throw a fucking Rasen shuriken, you fucking retard.
Yeah, that's getting cut out. Everything negative Kyle says about me is getting cut out. We're doing heavy editor bias here. But yeah, did you want to go over Pain?
Sure. Alright, so I'll start with Pain's speed first. He's reacting to people like Kakashi. He's faster than Orochimaru. Orochimaru tried blitzing Pain, and then within like the last second, he just pushed him away. He defeated most of the Akatsuki members with ease to get them to join. I'm honestly not 100% if that's canon, or if that was something from the games or not, but I'm going to assume it's canon, because he could probably beat most of them anyways. Tendo alone, not all 6 of them, but he more or less keeps up with Naruto while he's in Sage mode. After Naruto's out of Sage mode, Naruto does get dunked on, but he does more or less keep up with Sage mode. He's also able to fight pretty evenly with, I think it was 6 or 8-tailed Naruto after he slaps Hinata around. So he's got decent speed feats. If you watch our last video, you know Kakashi is somewhere around massively hypersonic. I don't know if I'd want to say that I'd put Pain a tier above that. He was pretty casually reacting to Kakashi and his Chidori and all that. So I don't know exactly where I'd put him speed-wise, but he's somewhere relative to Kakashi, if not a little bit faster. Durability-wise, like I said, he was swapping hands with Naruto while he was transformed. He did take quite a few hits, and he didn't look all that worse for wear after that. With that being said, Naruto in his transformed state at that point should be somewhere around mountain level. If you want to say the full Nine Tails is planetary, or if that makes you uncomfortable, a little less than that, small planetary, that version of Naruto should be somewhere around mountain level. In his four-tailed state, he was able to one-tap Jiraiya, albeit Jiraiya was, I don't know if I'd say caught off guard, but he was kind of blitzed at the moment. And Jiraiya's massive Rasengan has statements that he can carve out a mountain with his Rasengan. So I think Naruto at that point should fall somewhere around mountain level with his tailed beast bombs and such. For Pain's AP, his destructive capacities around large city level. We saw him blow up Konoha, which is actually about the size as the entirety of New York City, which I thought was pretty interesting. Attack potency is questionable. I don't know if I'd put him at the same of large city level, or if I'd want to put him somewhere around mountain level. Somewhere in between, I'm not 100% on that. Endurance-wise, all of the paths' endurance is based off of Nagato's chakra. As an Uzumaki, he's got a large pool of chakra. However, after blowing up Konoha and his massive Chibaku Tensei to trap Nine Tails in, he was pretty tired out after that. Even though he was able to revive everyone after that, he was like bleeding after both of those two jutsu, and things started going downhill from there. He did go on quite the gauntlet for that though, so I'm not trying to undersell him, but he has decent endurance. He did defeat Jiraiya with relative ease once all 6 of the paths showed up. Although Tendo showed up last, and he was going to be the heavy hitter for this video.
Scale him to Nagato.
Scale who to Nagato?
Pain.
Pain doesn't scale to Nagato.
Says who?
It says the show. Nagato was fighting people like Itachi. I don't think Pain would be doing that. Alright, carrying on. Like I said earlier, he defeated most of the Akatsuki members, no diff. He gave the Six Tails Jinchuriki Utakata PTSD from that ass beating that he got. Like I said, there's not a whole lot of impressive feats. I'm not going to go over all of the other paths in depth. They're fairly weak for like the main cast of the series. Although they're still above like Jonin, Special Jonin, Anbu level. So there's the animal path, the one that summons all the shit. I will name them off here quickly. You got the bird, dog, the chameleon, the panda, the ox, the rhino, the crab, and the centipede. Those are all the summons, and Dom will put them on screen for you so you know what I'm talking about. The human path can absorb souls by touching people. The Asura path is the mechanized path that can like shoot the laser beams, and Preta path is the one that absorbs all incoming jutsu. The Naraka path is the one with the King of Hell, where if he asks you a question and you lie, he like steals your soul. None of these paths have any super notable feats. One of them got unalived by Konohamaru. And the only other thing I'll mention is that all of these paths have shared vision, as long as Nagato's using extra chakra to make that happen, as well as with all the summons. He can see out of every single path and the summon's eyes. Anything you'd like to add, Dom?
Yeah, actually I would. So Pain definitely would scale to Nagato if he hadn't used the massive Shinra Tensei before he started fighting. And the Pain that Sage Jiraiya fought does scale to Nagato.
No, he doesn't scale to Nagato, because Nagato can use all 6 of the paths at the same time, and Pain's output is based solely on Nagato. So I get what you're saying. If like he was only using Tendo and he put all of his chakra from the beginning into Tendo, that he might scale to Nagato. I completely disagree with that.
Well, that's fine. I think it's pretty obvious in the show. I think it's crazy that you disagree with that.
I don't think it is. When Naruto, after he got like rejuvenated in the war arc, and he was able to fight with KCM Naruto, B, and Itachi all at the same time and give them a decent bit of trouble.
Yeah, he wasn't able to walk.
Pain got capped by. He couldn't walk very well. So.
Yeah, so if you're trying to say that Nagato, who can't walk, is at a disadvantage, like I definitely think Pain scales to Nagato at least a little bit. But it doesn't matter.
Yeah, it's all based on his abilities, but I don't know. I think that's a weird statement.
All right. Yeah, no, everything else I did agree with, though. I would say he's probably relativistic to Light, speed-wise. I know you were uncomfortable with saying that, but I can definitely feel comfortable saying that since he dodged a point-blank lariat.
I mean, like I said, Kakashi was a massively hypersonic. The tier above that is sub-relativistic. And at this point in the series, that's where Kakashi should be at, too. So, I mean, they're somewhere around the same speed.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. So if anybody has a problem with that, then go ahead and let us know in the comments, and we'll be happy to debate you. All right, over to Magneto. So because we're using
while you were... Not that. Well, I was going to say something while you were getting ready, but I think it's funny that you say that Pain scales above Nagato or close to him because Nagato couldn't walk, but Nagato was also washing 3 massively stronger characters while he couldn't walk.
Yeah.
And then Pain washed by Naruto.
Pain did not get washed by Naruto. Sage Naruto got destroyed by Pain, and on top of that, he used a giant Shinra Tensei that used up most of his chakra before that. And he summoned all of the summonings, and he was fighting all of the Leaf Ninja. Like, he fought all of the Leaf, save Guy and Naruto.
Alright, I'll get you that. Carry on.
So I'm using a pre-90s Magneto. Once you get to the 90s era, Marvel starts getting some insane feats, and it's just going to be too much for Pain to handle, and I didn't think it'd be a fun matchup. But this matchup I think actually is fun. Gravity versus Magnetism is a cool idea. So Magneto scales to a storm that's stronger than any storm on Earth, and it's shaking a building as large as a mountain. And Magneto in this scan is scaled higher than that just by the author statement. This same storm is shaking a building which is the size of a city, which should comfortably scale to Magneto. This makes sense, and I'll show you why. He's able to lift his old island. This is a base that he used to have. He lifts it straight out of the water using his magnetism. So a city level AP feat would not be too outlandish. So yeah, I would say his DC is somewhere between city to mountain level at this point, and his AP should be somewhere between island to continental, and I could show you that by the people he's fighting in a second. But before I do that, we're gonna go over speed. His speed is somewhere between high hypersonic plus to sub-relativistic, and it's hard to say because he's able to react to Quicksilver, but Quicksilver is in the middle of talking to Wanda, and then Wanda is able to react to this whole situation and disable his force field, and from about 10 meters away, Quicksilver just blitzes and pummels him into the wall. So it's pretty hard to say how fast he is just through his magnetism. And it does show you that his magnetism force fields are not always surrounding him, and he has to put them up, which is a big thing because some people think that he just has it completely up all the time. I think that's not true. During the Secret Wars event, he is actually shown reacting to the Human Torch, who tries to blitz and kill him. I'm not saying the Human Torch is moving at light speed during this, but he is capable of light speed travel. He reacts and throws a boulder at him, and this boulder disables his flame ability and also hits Iron Man and the Wasp. He's able to wrap a tank around the Hulk, but the Hulk is able to break right out of this. This is during the 80s, so the Hulk is not a planet buster yet, but he should scale to continental. He then pushes the Hulk away and pushes him and Hercules away, and Hercules scales insanely, but Hercules and him do not fight very much, and Hercules usually overpowers him. He's able to push them away by using the iron in their blood, but he's not able to manipulate people's bodies yet. That's something that he does in the 90s. He's not bloodbending, really. His force fields are stated to be able to tank any physical damage done to it, which does make sense if you look at the scan here. The force fields themselves are not breaking when She-Hulk and Thor with Mjolnir are swinging at it at the same exact time. So that's about it for most of what I wanted to go over, but quickly I wanted to talk about his battle IQ. I think this is going to be his biggest advantage in this fight. He's able to outsmart all of the X-Men, at least a lot of these early heavy hitters like Charles Xavier. Magneto blocks his psychological attacks with sure willpower. He then loosens the bolts on Xavier's chair and sends him flying, knowing that the other heroes are going to react to this. And while the other half of the heroes are busy, he traps half of the X-Men and then puts the other half in a position where he can trap them right after, and pushes Storm out of a window, which Storm is definitely the strongest one here. So he knew exactly who to get rid of right away. Now, he does have prior knowledge to all of these guys' abilities, but for the fight, we are going to give them knowledge of each other's abilities. Otherwise, Magneto probably would get stomped because of how weird Pain's abilities are. And same goes for Pain. He knows all of Magneto's abilities. So that's really the only advantage that we're giving Magneto here, is that they have prior knowledge before the fight starts. But that's usually what you do when you're making somebody fight Pain. Is there anything that you wanted me to elaborate on or you disagreed with, Kyle?
Nope.
All right. Sounds pretty good.
I can't disagree with shit I don't know about.
I mean, I gave you the feats a whole day ahead of time so you could research it, so that's not on me. Alright, so how do you think this fight would go out, Kyle?
Well, I'm gonna go ahead and talk about Pain's chakra rods ahead of time. They're not metal. I've seen conflicting things on whether they're metal or not, but for the most part, people agree that it is like condensed chakra and not metal. So we're also not giving that to Magneto. He's not fucking gonna Iron Maiden paint all of the pains with their piercings and shit. So just gonna throw that out ahead of time. He does have the blood bending feats. That would be a problem. I don't know if, since they're corpses, that they do have blood. What do you think about that?
I know in the anime, Jiraiya is shown to bleed them, but I do know that it would be dead blood because they are corpses. I don't know.
Does blood have metal in it? Probably should have fucking figured that out before this.
That's okay. Yes, dead blood still contains iron. Iron is a component of hemoglobin within red blood cells, and it remains in the blood even after death as the blood clot dries and eventually decays. So there is still iron in dead blood.
Apparently it doesn't decay at all, so, and if they're shown to be bleeding, then even it would still have metal. So he could still do all his bloodbending shit on all of them. And we agreed that Magneto can't neg Pain's main abilities, right?
Well, Pain's abilities are stated to be gravity-based. Magnetism cannot affect gravity. They're two different forces of nature. So yeah, I would say that no, he's not going to be able to stop Pain from using universal pull or almighty push.
So the bloodbending is obviously a problem. Although if the animal path starts popping off and there's like, what, 8 summons as well as the 6 paths, I think that'd be a bit much. I think the Preda path is pretty useless. I don't think he'd be absorbing anything. King of Hell path is also pretty fodder. Got taken out by Konohamaru. Human path didn't seem all that impressive. You mentioned that the Asura path has a laser. I'm not even 100% sure that that is in fact a laser.
I believe it's stated to be a laser. I also forgot to mention his force fields can definitely be penetrated by other forms of energy like light. And that's shown in the scan that I showed. I'll show it again right here. But yeah, he could theoretically use that laser beam to penetrate the magnetic force, which that laser beam does scale high. It was going to kill B.
B?
Yes, that's what Nagato used to threaten B's life. He had the laser beam pointed right at B's face. Just takes a second to charge though.
Okay, that's fair. I don't know if it'd be as strong in the Asura path as it would be if Nagato was using it, but you seem to think so I'll agree with that for my sake. So I think most of the paths here are pretty useless, aside from Animal Path being a great distraction with all of the summons. Tendo will be doing most of the heavy lifting. I really think the fight is just how much distractions can the other paths pull out until Pain can find some sort of killing blow.
Well, what is your win con? What do you think is going to kill him?
Well, you were talking about you think Chubaku Tensei would kill Magneto. I tend to disagree with that, unless you want to argue that Tendo puts him in a Chubaku Tensei and the Asura path like shoots a laser in the middle. Because honestly, I think Magneto's force field would save him from all the rock. Most mineral has some form of metal in it, so I think he'd be able to just not get crushed by it in general.
Yeah. The setting for this fight is taking place the same place that Naruto fought Pain, except Pain just is at full chakra. Otherwise, if it's in the middle of New York City, Magneto has a lot of metal to work with. But he still has a lot of metal to work with, though. He can draw metal from the earth and use it himself, so he's not defenseless here.
Yeah, I don't think the setting really matters for Magneto, because there's just metal practically everywhere. I don't have many win cons, to be honest with you. I think he could stab him with his chakra rods. I think
he definitely could be
his abilities
stabbed.
are a problem. I don't think Chubaku Tensei is a kill.
Chubaku Tensei isn't
Almighty
a kill.
Push is never shown to be really killing anybody. So
I think he was at the other end of the Shinra Tensei that was underneath the village would probably kill him.
I don't know. I'm not super confident that Pain could do a whole lot. He is faster than him, I think you said. I forgot what you said his speed was.
They should be relative to each other just because he's able to react to certain characters. I think he's a little slower than Pain, but he is able to react to Quicksilver. Should put him at high hypersonic plus to close to sub-relativistic.
Okay. I don't know if the other paths scale that way in speed, but I think there's plenty of distractions for him to do something stupid. Like I said, I think the only thing he could really do is stab him. I don't think any of the abilities that they have are kills. I don't think Human Path is getting his hands on him, or King of Hell for that matter.
What about the laser beam?
Yeah, I mean, they're going to have to get him in place or
Right.
catch him off guard for that. I do think that that's possible. I'm just not 100% certain.
Yeah, so how I think he would interact with your win con, right, is if he does get caught in the Chibaku Tensei and they use the laser beam, he should be able to use the force field to prevent the Chibaku Tensei from crushing him. And if he uses the metal, he should be able to break out of it pretty fast. And his reaction time with his magnetism seems to be as fast as him. So as long as he's able to draw the metal out from there in time before the laser beam's fired, he should be able to get out of there. And the laser beam does take a second to activate. And don't think he's just gonna watch the Chibaku Tensei activate and just get caught in the middle of it. He's probably gonna be using metal before that even activates. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, I mean, Pain would have to find an opening for him to actually hit Magneto with the core of it as well, since it's not like Sasuke's. He actually has to put it on him.
Right, exactly. I don't hate the idea that he gets killed by getting stabbed, because Wolverine is shown to stab him, and I'm pretty sure the chakra rods just negate durability. You can see this because it does stab Naruto when he's in Sage mode. Naruto's able to stab himself with it, and Naruto falls and hits that spike. That spike would have killed him in base, and we know in base he's able to tank a lot of damage. I don't hate the idea that the chakra rods are able to stab through him. I just think that he should be able to put up a force field to block the chakra rods from stabbing into him, unless Pain is able to push him and distract him with the animal path. Now, I think the most troublesome animal path is going to be the dog summoning. I think he should be able to subdue and stop all the other ones. Now, the animal path can desummon and resummon them back out, but that's going to use up a lot of his chakra, and he does do that. He does that with the paths of pain as well. So that's like another hard thing that Magneto's going to have to deal with. But if you remember the scans I just sent, the ones of him reacting to the X-Men and dismantling all of their abilities single-handedly all at once, I think that does go to show you that his battle IQ is high enough to be able to handle what's going on around him, especially because characters like Charles Xavier are there who should scale higher to Pain. His telepathy is insane, and by sheer willpower alone he's able to block out this telepathy. I'm not saying that Pain's going for Genjutsu or anything. I'm just saying, you know, he's able to focus on his willpower being strong enough to block out Magneto's psychic abilities. And it states in the scan that he has no psychic abilities of himself, but he's also focusing enough to distract a different team of heroes. And then at the end, he captures all of them. So I think when it comes to the other paths of Pain, he shouldn't have a problem capturing them.
Yeah, I don't have any opinions strongly either way. I think the win com I came up with, the best one I could come up with, is flimsy at best. It really just depends on if they're able to catch him off guard and for how long and what they're able to do in that time.
So my win con for Magneto would be for him to just capture all the paths of Pain and probably kill the animal path to stop it from resummoning the paths of Pain all the time. Because if he does capture them in metal, I could see her resummoning them out.
I mean, he'd have to go for Naraka first, because King of Hell can heal the paths.
Yeah, that's true. But because he has prior knowledge to Pain's abilities, he should be able to do this. Now, if you wanted to say that he doesn't have prior knowledge, right? If we were doing the fight like that, I think Magneto loses just because there's too much going on and Pain has too many hacks. Like, he could probably soul steal him just because he has no idea what the hell's going on. But because he does know what's going on, I would say that he would probably take out that Naraka path first and then subdue the rest after killing the animal.
That's if he's even able to. I mean, it is a 1v13.
Yes, I'm not saying it's going to be easy for him, but he's able to subdue the whole X-Men, and Storm is way stronger than any of these characters. If he's able to outsmart Storm, I think it's fair to say he's going to be able to outsmart Pain and get him away from him in time for him to take out these guys. So he's able to capture the rest of the Pains, and then it's just him versus the Diva path. I think it would be reasonable for Magneto to find out the Shinra Tensei timer if it is just a 1v1. He's able to subdue all of them. And if he's able to figure out the 5-second timer, he's going to be able to one-shot Pain with some metal or subdue him in some way. He's shown to be doing that. He doesn't want to kill the X-Men because he loves mutants. But if he wanted to, he could have killed them in that situation. So I think what I'm trying to say is, bottom line, Magneto should be able to react to these guys. He's going to be able to outsmart Pain even if he's using all of the animal pass. And then he's going to be able to kill Tendo. And then that's going to be the end of the fight.
So be it. I don't have any good arguments.
All right, guys. Let us know what you guys think in the comments below. Who do you think won this one? I could see your win con happening. I'm not saying it's not happening ever. Real quick, comment of the week, as always. No one-cc9cy says, love you. So that's comment of the week, guys. We love you too. Obviously, Kyle hates you, though. Just a heads up, because you guys aren't liking and subscribing. You want to say bye, Kyle?
Go fuck yourself.
Oh my god, that was ear rape.